What's up, guys? It's a little late, but we gotta get it in. Can't let the day slip by doing nothing, right? Good things come to those who work. Never mind sitting around waiting. When it comes to this, there is no waiting. Gotta put the work in. A little bit every day. Every other day. Whatever. As long as you're consistent. You get a couple of sets of pull-ups. Do a few dips, a few knee raises. So we could say we did something for the day, right? We did some work. We didn't sit around waiting. Good things come to those who work, not so much those who wait. Just the basics, nothing but the basics. Pull, push, squat. And we're not doing squat and hinge. Tonight we're just doing pull, push, hinge. What's up, Leo? You know we don't stop, Lee. You know we don't stop. We always got to get it in. Today we're going just body weight. A couple of pull-ups, a couple of dips. Work that core with the leg raises. We'll alternate between leg and knee raises, whatever it takes. Basic moves. It's always going to be a pull, a push, a squat, and a hinge. So the pull could be a vertical pull up and down with a pull-up. It could be a horizontal pull with, say, an inverted row, Australian pull-up. Our push is going to be a push-up, a dip. Also in the pushing class, push families for the shoulders, right? And that's when we go straight overhead. But tonight we're just going to hit some dips and some vertical pulls, standard pull-ups, and then a hinge move for the core. That could be what I'm doing here: knee raises, leg raises. You can get on the floor, do some reverse crunches. You could do some straight leg raises, a couple of Russian twists, whatever it takes to hit that core. Pull, push, squat, hinge. That's all you have to think about. Stick with the basics. The basics will get you there as long as you're consistent. Always the fundamentals, guys. That's all we need. The fundamentals, the basics, the moves that have been around forever. And they've been around forever because they work. No sense in trying to get fancy. No such thing as, I don't have a gym membership, I can't exercise. Do everything with your body, with gravity, and with the ground. That's really all you need. Stick with the basics. Pull, push, squat, hinge. Well, I can't go to the gym for the treadmill, the elliptical, walk around the block. Instead of the elliptical, do some jumping jacks. Do some burpees, even better. Some burpee variation. You can even start with a 4-count burpee, right? And the 4 count is where you just go down into the plank without doing a push-up, and you pop right back up. That's a 4 count. And then the 6 count burpee is where you add in the 1 push-up. We call that a 6 count or a 1 pump burpee. But everything body weight will get you right, as long as you do it consistently and you're eating right. Like we say every time I'm on, and it's never going to change, the diet is always number one. Diet is always most important. Right now I'm just hitting some rounds, doing a few pull-ups, some dips on the parallel bars, and then some leg and knee raises. What's up, Fresh Take? Thank you, brother. Here's to you. Hope you're getting your reps in too, brother. Making your first batch of CMOS? Yeah, actually, I haven't made any in a while. I still have some left. I really should make it. But I did a video. If you go back on my channel, just search CMOS, and I give you the recipe of how I did it. I added in some lemon lime, and I actually believe the last time I did, when I did for that video, I soaked it in green tea rather than just plain water. But just search back real quick for that video. I think I did it like last year. I don't remember the exact steps, but I think I outlined it pretty good in the video. I appreciate you being here, brother. Enjoy your CMOS. Pre-workout, mid-workout, post-workout, straight black coffee. You don't need none of this bullshit. Spending $40 for a can of caffeine and flavoring and sugar and sweeteners and bullshit. You need a little juice for your workout, black coffee. 1,000 times cheaper and works just as well. So guys, like I said, just the basics, right? If you can't do pull-ups, you get yourself a set of bands, strap that on the bar. That'll give you a nice assist, and it'll get you up on the bar doing the motion, and you'll see how quick you progress as long as you're consistent, right? If you can't do dips on the parallel bars, you get on the ground, do some wide push-ups, hands a little wider. And if you can't do a standard push-up yet, you get on your knees. Always a way to do it. There's always some variation that you could do. I'm doing these leg raises and some knee raises on the parallel bars. If you can't do that, you get on the ground. For the knee raise, you would do a reverse crunch where you're laying flat on your back and you're gonna bring your knees back towards your chest. And then the other variation would be lay down, obviously on your back, and you bring your legs straight up and down. And then normally what I do is you kind of put your hands in that position. And as you're laying on the ground, you'll put your hands right between your lower back and the top of your butt. And that'll give you a little more support when you're doing that. Always got to protect that lower back, right? Always have to be careful of the back. Pull that back out, and we're gonna have problems. What's up, King? What's up, brother? Big Daddy, cheers to you. If that makes you feel better, brother, then go for it. If that makes you feel better about yourself, go for it. You only wish I was doing that. You only wish, my friend. King, it's all good. It's all good. We welcome the haters too. It's all good. Justin, you always got, you have to figure out your calories. You have to be really consistent. Just like people that are losing weight, I tell them all the time, you got to track. You have to track what you're putting in your mouth, how much, right? So when people are looking to lose weight, we have them on a higher protein diet, a higher ratio of protein to fats and carbs, obviously, right? And we're going to drop the calories. When you're losing weight, obviously you want to be at a calorie deficit. In your case, you got to find that number where you're at a slight calorie surplus. You don't want to be eating 500, 1,000 calories over what your maintenance is. It's way too much. You'll just be piling on fat. So assuming you're working out, assuming you're doing some type of resistance training, right? You want to find that sweet spot where you're gaining maybe a pound or two a week, right? If you're putting on 3, 4, 5 pounds a week, I guarantee it's a fact. That's just going to be all excess fat. You don't want to do that, right? You want to do it at a good rate. So you really have to track. You want to have a little higher percentage of carbs in your diet when you're looking to bulk up. But I usually, you definitely want to use a tracker, something like MyFitnessPal. There's a million of them. There's another one called Chronometer. But basically all you're doing is trying to use that as a counter, just to count what you're putting in your body, and that'll automatically figure out the ratio, right? What percentage protein are you eating? What percentage of carbs are you eating? Big Daddy, I'm here, brother. Show your picture. Just email me right now. We'll put you on. You could show everybody, right? TM, no, I've never had, I don't think I've had bursitis. No, I'm sure I haven't had bursitis, but I always have something going on. I'm always tweaking the shoulder. I have this issue with my elbow. So there's definitely always something going on there. It's tough with the shoulder, because the shoulder is the linchpin of the whole upper body, right? No matter what you're doing, no matter what you're working with your upper body, that shoulder is always going to come into play. So again, I just suggested bands like for people that are trying to do pull-ups. But, you know, the set that I have has 6 bands, excuse me, and it goes down to these really thin bands. And I would do some, you know, light work with the bands, try and help that out. I'm not a big fan of like taking anti-inflammatories because they just, you go down that road. All you're doing is numbing it. You're not fixing anything with those things. You know, taking the Motrins and the Advils and even worse, like some type of pain pill. You definitely don't want to get into that gerbil's wheel because it's dangerous. Yeah, Nate, 100. You definitely have to. You're right. King, like I said, it's all good. We like the haters too. We always like the haters. Justin, 6'2", 197. I mean, that's not bad, you know. Are you working out? What kind of muscle do you have on you? Do you have good muscle tone, or you know? Nate, you have to lose at a slow rate. When you're at a when we say lose weight, right? We don't mean lose lean body weight, i.e. muscle, right? We don't want to break down muscle. When we talk about losing weight, we're talking about losing body fat, right? And the best way to do that is to do some type of resistance training. You know, a lot of people are in this mindset that I'm going to eat as little as possible, and I'm going to get on a treadmill or an elliptical machine for an hour or 2 hours a day, and I'm going to be good. And that's a recipe for disaster. Like I said earlier, you want to track, you want to go. Like for guys, I usually, again, there's no set. You can't paint everybody with a broad brush. So for a guy, I usually start them at say 1,800 calories, and then you want to go at, you know, right around half of those calories are going to be protein or close to it. You want to have a really high protein count. And then, so as long as you're keeping your protein up and you're doing some type of resistance training along the way, and you're losing weight at a nice steady rate, maybe a pound and a half, 2 pounds a week, I think you'll be golden. But if you don't do any type of resistance training, you cut your calories, you know, drastically, and you're not taking in sufficient protein, you're not going to maintain that lean, you know, whatever muscle you do have on your body. You're going to be breaking that down. You're going to be catabolic, and that's the last thing you want to do. And that's definitely going to give you that drawn look, you know, sort of like, you know, if you see somebody who's really obese and they lose a ton of weight and they haven't done anything other than gotten, say, bariatric surgery, right, or just did it the wrong way, they just look like they're completely drawn. They look sickly. They do have the loose skin. But, you know, I got to be honest with you. If you're that overweight, you know, and you do lose, you know, if you're talking about losing 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds, for most people, there's always exceptions. But when you're in that range, there's probably going to be some loose skin, but you could definitely alleviate it to some degree if you're doing a resistance training along the way. Fresh, you're talking about the glucosamine for the bursitis. Is that what you're talking about? And the omega-3s, yeah, that's a good idea too. That's good for, they're also going to help. They play a big part in the joint health, no doubt. Shipsu, what do you mean no core? I don't know, I don't understand what your question is there, brother. King Giant, I do a little of both. I do calisthenics, I do some weighted calisthenics, and I do also weight train at the gym. So I try to get a little bit of everything in. As you see here, obviously it's late, so I'm just doing some body weight, a couple of pull-ups and body weight dips. All right, Alex, I haven't tried that, but I'm going to take your word on it. I'm assuming that's good advice. See now, Oliver, what you should do, guys. See now, check out Oliver Tremonte here. He should take that. He should take that message that he just put up there, right? And he should screenshot it. And then he's going to go tell his friends and show everybody and say, look, there was this 60-year-old guy that was working out, right? And he was talking to people. And then I put up this funny quote. It was real funny. Nobody laughed at it, but to Oliver, it was funny, you know? And that was the highlight of my day. That's what I did today. I made it funny. I tried to make it funny. But you failed miserably, Oliver. You probably do that a lot in life, my friend, unfortunately. Thanks, Kingfire. Appreciate you being here, brother. Justin, when you talk about getting rid of your belly and chest chub, you're talking about, again, I'm going to go back to what I just said. You're talking about losing body fat. That's all diet. That's all diet. Right? But again, when you're doing that, you want to be taking in sufficient protein and doing the resistance training. But you don't lose, exercise doesn't get you thin. Don't look at exercise to try and burn fat or lose body fat. Right? Don't think you're going to go out and eat a pizza and drink a bunch of beer and then say, well, I'll go to Planet Fitness tomorrow and I'll get on the treadmill for an hour or two and it's going to, I'll be good. Those calories will be gone and I'll be back to square one. It's not going to work like that, Just. You gotta get really consistent and track that diet. It's non-negotiable. All right, Random, good. So I'm assuming maybe you were doing a little workout along the way, eating right, I hope. But good for you that you did it without the skin. Ash Fishing's in the house. Yeah, Spidey, shame on Oliver. James Carr's in the house. You're right, James. It's all diet, brother. All diet. 80 to 85% diet. No way around it. Yeah, well, if you're eating just, fresh vegetables, fresh take, it's going to be the same difference, I would assume, right? I mean, the soil's depleted. There's pesticides, heavy metals, whatever is it. God only knows what's in it. But we have to do the best we can with what we have where we're at. So I'm always leery. If you're doing that because you feel that you're not getting enough, say, fruits and vegetables in your diet naturally, these powders, I've never done anything like that. The only thing I will do is a protein shake every now and again, a whey protein isolate, and I get something that's really clean, or at least that says it's clean. No artificial sweeteners, no sugar, none of that maltodextrin. And you always want to get, it's obviously, well, we're not talking about greens anymore, but when you were talking about the protein, you want to get a good clean whey protein isolate. But as far as those that you're talking about, I would venture to guess that if there's lead in that powder you're talking about, there's just as much bad stuff in the fresh fruits and vegetables that we're eating too. So, that's the way of the world now. Yeah, James, you definitely, but again, at the end of the day, we don't know. We know what they tell us, right? And we're at their mercy. They sell it, we buy it, but really all you can do is just buy the best stuff that you can. In my case, I stay far away from like ultra processed foods, junk food. Haven't been in a McDonald's in years. I have no intention of going back. You could make the case that everything's processed, even when you go to the supermarket and buy meat, of course it's processed. God only knows what they're adding to that. Who knows what they fed the animals, but try and get as close to the real stuff as you can. And I think you'll be fine. Again, especially if you're somebody who works out, you're taking your health seriously, you want to make sure you're getting sufficient protein. And again, people that are vegans, and it's a little different when you're looking to get your protein from plant sources. There's not too many places to do that unless you eat soy every day. Soy is a complete protein, I guess. But when you talk about complete protein with all the complete amino acid profile, plenty of leucine, which is probably the most important one when it comes to building muscle, you're going to get that from animal sources, right? You're going to get it from meat, fish, dairy. I eat a lot of yogurt, a lot of Greek yogurt, things like that. So that's going to give you your complete proteins. And then, I'm not shy with the fruit. And vegetables, I'm kind of hit and miss with. I'll do some vegetables, but so far, knock wood, we're holding up. But I think all that said, your chances are way better than McDonald's every day, junk food, Pop-Tarts, cereals, cakes, cookies, the booze. You got to get off the booze. You guys that are still smoking, well, I don't smoke, I vape. You smoke. You know what I mean? You're just replacing it with another horrible habit, another deadly habit. So there you go, James. You grow your own. That's the way to do it. No problem, Fresh Take. I appreciate you being in here tonight, brother. Martin, I'm in New Jersey. Right now it's 11:19 p.m. Spidey, they are. The brand name is called Pixel, P-I-C-S-I-L. These are the ones that have the three finger holes in them. Yeah, James, quality doesn't always mean expensive. You can go into McDonald's and buy a Big Mac, a large soda, a large fries, and one of those ice cream poison that isn't even ice cream, bullshit things that are. And what are you going to spend for? I don't even know. I haven't been in there for so long, but I'm guessing you're upwards of $10, right? For $10, I can go to the supermarket and get 2 pounds of grass-fed ground beef for that same amount. So all these people that you know, they just spew these things that they hear, and they've never done it, they've never tried it. It's so expensive to eat healthy, so expensive. Well, if you sit down and plan it out, if you prep your food, if you buy your food in bulk, if you have it prepared, it's just bullshit. It's because people don't want to take the time to put the effort in. They'll sit and complain about things that they hear from somebody else. You know, they have all these talking points. You can't build muscle with calisthenics. It's so expensive to eat healthy. You know, the only way to burn fat is with, you got to do cardio, 2 hours of cardio a day. It's all nonsense. It's all myths. I don't know where, I mean, I know where people get it from. It's been around forever. But the point is, people won't take the time and put and say, is that really true? Let me see if that's true for me. You know? And somebody tells you, well, you should eat this all the time and eat that, and you say, well, I eat it and I don't feel right. I get gas. I get a lot of people are like that with dairy. Well, then don't eat it. Don't eat it. There's plenty of other things you can eat. But you have to put the work in. You have to find out what works for you. What's the best exercise to do for this? The one that you can do, the one that's sustainable. Find out. I can give you 3 or 4 exercises that'll work for what you just asked me. Are you gonna go and do it for the next 30 days, 60 days and find out what really works? No, people are gonna go on, and I have it all the time. People, they'll come back and question me. Yeah, but this guy said that was better. And this guy said I should do this. Try it. You got to do it. At the end of the day, you have to do it. Like I put in the title, good things come to those who work. Put the work in and find out what works for you. Don't worry about that guy. You know, my friend Joe, he eats this and that, and he never gains weight. And you're not him, and you'll never be him. So don't worry about Joe. Worry about you. Worry about what you're putting in your mouth. Worry about how much exercise you do. Worry about your health. Joe wears a bib. Is alcohol bad for the body? Alcohol is a neurotoxin. Neuro meaning brain, toxin meaning poison. So I'll leave you with that, and then maybe you can come back and tell me if alcohol is bad for the body. Thank you, Fresh Take. I appreciate that, brother. See there again, Fresh Take. You know, wherever you heard that from, your body can only assimilate 30 grams of protein at a time. Prove it. Prove it. You know, my thing is, if you're tracking your food and we come up with a number and say, let's try this number, we're going to do it for a few weeks, we're going to see how your body reacts, just hit the number. We can't sit there and say, well, it's 8 o'clock, who's the guy? One of these guys online, one of these influencers were telling people to get up 30 minutes after you wake up, have 30 grams of protein, do 30 minutes of cardio. Get the fuck, I mean, it's nonsense. It's fucking nonsense in plain English. Keep it simple. Keep it sustainable. It's not rocket science, guys. It's not rocket science. You come up with a number, be consistent, track it over time and see what your weight's doing. I'm not losing weight. We'll go down a couple of 100 calories with you, maybe a little more protein, maybe a little less fat, a couple of more carbs, whatever. You just tweak it as you go along and you'll find it. There's no such thing as, I tried everything and I can't lose weight. You tried everything except what works for you. William, that guy sounds really familiar. I don't know where I've heard that name before, but I'll answer his question anyway. No, Will, but it's gonna exhaust you. I mean, I use any type of machine, the treadmill, the elliptical, any type of cardio, you know, some jumping jacks, some running in place, a couple of burpees. You just do that before you do your resistance training, because you always have to warm your body up. You don't want to walk into the gym cold and then just start lifting weights or hitting the machines or whatever. So you build yourself up. Again, I have my bands. We always do a little bit of band stretching. Do 5 to 10 minutes of cardio, and then you hit your weights. And then the cardio, you could do some cardio on a separate day. But again, we're not looking at cardio or any type of exercise as a way to control our weight. There's one way to control your weight, and that's what goes in your mouth, what type of food, how much food, the macro ratio, and how often you're eating. That's how you control your weight. I say it all the time when I'm on. Will you burn a few extra calories when you do some exercise? Absolutely, it stands to reason. If you're more active, your body has to burn calories for energy, but it's nowhere near what people think. You know, you might get on the treadmill and burn, if you really go at it, again, everybody's physiology is different, 300 calories. That's a palm full of almonds or walnuts. So if I walk out of the gym and I eat a palm full of almonds, I just replaced all the calories that I burned on the treadmill. So you look at exercise as a way to get your body healthy, to get your body strong, flexible, mobile. But at the end of the day, you know, cardio is not going to kill your gains, but I mean, it's going to affect your workout. If you're looking to go in and hit the weights heavy and have a good weight workout, you certainly don't want to be on a treadmill or any type of heavy cardio before you do that, because it's going to exhaust you. There you go, James. Free salad for life. Cheers to you, brother. See, guys, we have another comedian here. Joe wears a drool bit. He probably does, for real. So he's another guy. He's going to screenshot this, and he's going to call up his friends, and he's going to send it. He's going to text it to all his friends. He's going to say, guys, there was a guy online, and he was talking, and he was doing some pull-ups, which I can't do, you know, but he was doing them, and I was watching them. So I put up a funny thing, and it was so funny. Nobody laughed, but it was funny, you know, and that was the highlight of my day. Joe wears a drool bit. Guys, you want to see the funniest thing, the most productive thing I did all day? Get in there, color coats. And if you can't get to the gym, get on your living room floor, go in the backyard, go on your front porch, go on your back porch. Yeah, Spidey, I don't believe in any of that, but it's just nonsense. It takes up so much brain space and so much, you know, people look at it, they overanalyze it, they look at it as a reason not to do it. You know what I mean? I had 32 grams of protein, that's too much, and just eat good food. And if you have a specific goal, it's almost impossible. I'm not saying you can't do it, obviously, if you take in too many calories, but if you eat whole food, as close to real food as you can get, your weight will naturally normalize over time. So don't people stress and give themselves, you know, heartburn over how much protein, what time should I eat the protein? James, skincare, I don't really have a skincare regimen. I do, I guess maybe a little bit. I use coconut oil on my skin. Fresh take, I mean, yeah, you know, people always want to be a part of a club. It's like people like sports fans, right? They want to be associated with that. And when people, you talk about people that are vegans, people that are carnivore, the people that they think they eat keto. Most people think they're eating keto, they're really not. But we won't go down that rabbit hole right now. But there's a place for the carnivore diet. I mean, it can have a lot of benefits if you do it consistently and if you do it the right way. You can absolutely have benefits, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You know, people will do it. You might find somebody who has crazy discipline and maybe they'll do it 6 months or even a little bit longer, but they're gonna drop off. They're always gonna drop off. So you have to find a way of eating where you have, you know, if you're not a vegan or a vegetarian, if you're not gonna go down that road, you can certainly live a long, healthy life just by eating whole foods, meat, fish, eggs, dairy, fruits, and vegetables. And you'll be just fine. And over time, your weight will normalize. You don't sit in front of the TV at night, you know, and eat, you know, 2 pounds of broccoli. You'll have a couple of pieces of broccoli. Nobody's gonna overeat on that, right? But if I give you a can of Pringles, I guarantee, and put a movie on, you're gonna eat that. I would. Anybody's gonna eat that whole can of Pringles. That's not even food. Or if I give you a big bag of candy, chocolate or something, you know it's gonna go. Or cookies, right? You give me a sleeve of Oreos right now, and in 5 minutes there's gonna be nothing left but a couple of crumbs, and I'll suck those up and the cellophane. But on real food, it's so hard to overeat because it's not addictive. All the other stuff is made to be addictive, and that's a fact. Fresh take, I gotta tell you, I haven't had a drink in years, and one of the best, if not close to the best, decisions I ever made in my life. I don't miss it. I started drinking 40s in a schoolyard when I was 14 years old. And I hit the ground running for the next 35 years, and what a waste. What a waste. But if you work on that, brother, it's gonna change your life. And all for the better, I promise. I promise if you do that. Nomad, thank you for the kind words. And I'm just as grateful that you're here listening to me. Thank you for that super chat, Fresh Take. That's very generous of you. I appreciate that, brother. My thoughts on morning workouts to burn glycogen. I mean, you'll hear people say that it's good to do fasted cardio in the morning, right? To get rid of, to burn off that glycogen. But to what end? What are you trying to do? I mean, are you going to fast the rest of the, or a good part of the day? You know what I mean? Are you looking to get yourself in ketosis for a good part of the day? What are you trying to do it for? You know what I'm saying? And if you're looking to burn off glycogen, stored glycogen, that means you ate some carbs maybe the night before. You know what I mean? So I would say, if you're looking to do that, or like cycle carbs or whatever, I mean, I would always go for some carbs earlier in the day. And, front load your carbs. I'm not saying, eat a ton of cookies, at 8 o'clock in the morning, but and that's the other thing. When I say carbs, people get all excited. Oh, I can have donuts and I can have cake and I can have cookies. When I say carbs, I'm talking about, maybe sweet potato, maybe some brown rice if you do okay with that, and all your fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. But I would go for them, a little earlier in the day, rather than going low carb for the first half of the day. Or it is a good idea to have, if you want to have the carbs, if you are working out, you want to have the carbs around your workout, because that's the first thing your body's going to burn. The first thing it's going to use for fuel is that glycogen, right? You're going to kick that glycogen and you'll burn that off, right? But then you have these people that you go into the gym, and I see it all the time, and they have a 32 ounce or more of Gatorade, which is just pure, a couple of 100 calories of sugar. So and I've seen it many, many times. I see it all the time. Yeah, right? Somebody who's overweight, and they'll be on a treadmill at the gym trying to burn calories, and then they have a big tub of sugar water. So make that make sense. I do. Yeah, I do yoga occasionally. I certainly do. I I was doing it much more regularly a little while back, but now I still do it. I do some yoga stretches before my workouts. Generally, I try, but full yoga routines I haven't done in a while. There's a good channel that I really like that has some good 15, 20, 30 minutes, even longer. But I usually try to find something in the 30 to 40-minute range. It's called Saturno Movement, Saturno, Saturno Movement, all one word. He's got a pretty big channel, but if you check him out, he's got a lot of good yoga routines on there. You know, that yoga, it really is the fountain of youth. That's a big. You do some yoga, and you'll realize how inflexible, and you know, most of us don't have that mobility that we think we have, or that flexibility. It's a real eye opener, you know, and it's very sobering, you know, when you do it the first few times. But I was making some strides with it, you know, working a lot on my hamstrings because those are really tight. Definitely shoulders. You know, you get in some of those positions, you really get the burn in the shoulders. But I was never big on stretching really most of my life. You know, and I know I see it in the gym all the time. A lot of people, they just come into the gym and they'll jump on a machine and do a couple of reps just to warm up. But as far as like legitimate stretching, yoga type stretching, you very rarely see that in gyms, you know. James Carr, just to sum it all up, it's pretty much a dumpster fire. It really is a bad situation. You know, and we could talk all night, but we'd go around in circles. I'm sure half the people in here are on one side and the other half are on the other side. And I have enough trouble trying to get people to stop eating cookies. I'm certainly not going to try to get them to vote for somebody. And I really don't want to hear people's bullshit about who's right and who's wrong. Okay, Fresh. See, I have no issue with that because it sounds like you're doing what makes you feel better, and that's spot on. That's exactly what you're supposed to do, right? Obviously, you've done that, and you see the way your body reacts, you see the way your body feels, and you're going with it. All good. That doesn't mean it would work for me. It might. You could say to me, hey, this is what I eat. This is when I eat it. This is how I do it. And, you know, if you want to try it, and it may just work for me. I may, hey, Fresh, that was great, man. Thanks for the advice. Or I may say, no, that really didn't work for me. I don't feel good on it. You know, which is my point. Good things come to those who work, who try it, who experiment. You can only do so much research. You can only listen to so many people, you know? Yeah, mobility is big, James, and most of us don't work on it. Yeah, Pilates, you're right, Frank. Pilates, I've never done it, but yeah, that's going to lengthen the muscles, and it's definitely good for the flexibility and mobility. Because when you're doing any type of resistance training, you're going to get tight. Your body's going to get tight. James, you just summed it all up in simple language. Bad food makes you feel bad. Couldn't have said it better myself. And nobody's going to argue that fact. You can go on the internet and always find a dissenting opinion, somebody who's going to say the complete opposite of what you say. Anybody who says the opposite of what you just said, got to have their head examined. Bad food makes you feel bad. I hope he does online. I hope somebody does. You're right, fresh whole foods is key, without a doubt. I'm glad you're getting something out of it, fresh. Make sure you get your reps in. Eat those whole foods, brother, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. No, James, actually I don't have my bug zapper tonight. I do not have my bug zapper tonight, unfortunately. No, actually there's really no bugs out tonight. It's pretty good. I'm not home right now. When I'm home, I always have that bug zapper going. That thing works like a charm. That's a lifesaver, without a doubt. James, that's really all I drink. Black coffee, plain water. In my water, I'll put some electrolytes. I put a little potassium, magnesium, and pink salt, and a little lemon. But generally throughout the day, I have my coffee, plain water. Again, usually in the mornings, sometimes in the morning I'll just do a cup of electrolytes, get it out of the way, and then green tea. I drink some green tea. Thanks, Philly. I guess you compliment me. I don't know. Leaner than what? Leaner than who? But yeah, James, I haven't had a drink of alcohol in, I couldn't tell you the last time I did that. Soda, way further back than that. Yeah, so that's it. Water, coffee, green tea, and then some electrolytes I throw in the water. That's really it. Place for everything, James. If you're a gym guy, there's benefits to every single one of them, to every rep range. If you want to go heavy and do a lower rep range for one workout, like a 6 to 8 rep range, and then next workout you want to come in and do like a 8 to 12, that hypertrophy, or what they say is the hypertrophy range, and then like a 12 to 15, you know, that endurance range. You got to mix it up. You know, even guys that do calisthenics, oh, you do shorties and you don't get any benefit. Bullshit. That's a lot of time under tension when you're doing those mid-range reps. So there's a place for everything, you know. And you have these purists that say, no, you have to go full range of motion. Sure, you know, you want to do that. You want to learn the exercise correctly. But as you fatigue, Just like when you're in the gym, you want to do a drop set, you take a little bit of weight off, right? So if you're benching X amount and then you drop the weight as you go along, you're really exhausting your muscle. It's the same principle like with those shorties. If you stay in that short range, I mean, people that say, again, it comes down to, have you done it? People that criticize the most, well, that doesn't work, it's because they read it somewhere or somebody told them and they believe that it's true for some reason. It's very, very rarely going to be somebody that said, no, I did shorties for 6 months, or I did this rep range in the gym for 6 months or 8 months. I had a good workout program, I followed it to the T, and I did it for X amount of time. People don't do that. People don't do. You were talking about politics. It's the same thing with politics. People spew talking points that they hear on the news, that they take as gospel, and they know nothing. You talk about politics, this one's running, this one's running. People don't vote on what they know about the guy's platform or the guy's true beliefs. It's what they watch on TV. It's if they think there's something, they're voting on what they think is personality. And these people aren't real. They're not even real. It's not their true personality. It's like a persona, that they're actors. And people, for some reason, take a liking to that. It's like that. It's just like, movie stars. This hero worship. And then all of a sudden it gets like turned into like this like rabid, like, fuck you. And, you vote for him and you suck. And you vote for this one and you suck. They don't even know what they're arguing about. So I got off track there. But, when it comes to exercise, people say, no, this is the way to do it. And have you done it? Have you really done it? The same thing with the eating. Now, if you eat that, you're not going to lose weight. Or if I eat that much, how do you know? The first thing, when anybody comes out with that shit, just throw it back at them. How do you know? And you're very rarely going to get an intelligent answer. They're going to put their head down, they're going to shrug their shoulder, and they're going to try and get out of the conversation because they can't justify their opinions. Most people cannot do it. Hard K, I was talking about range of motion. Right, Fresh. So you have to look at that. Those are the things you have to look at. Don't tell me, this guy did this and he was with this woman. Tell me, if somebody's in office, is it going to benefit me and my family? But this fucking nonsensical hero worship and turning on CNN and MSNBC and Fox and just listening to these people talk and that's where you draw your opinions from. That's a sad way to live. It's a sad way to live. And what I'm getting at too with the whole exercise thing is that people go on, social media, and they'll see some guy that'll put up like a 5-second snippet of him. God only knows how many drugs he's taken, and he's telling you how to work out. Back in the day, before social media, I used to get all those magazines, Flex, Muscle and Fitness, and this and that. And these guys would talk about, eat this much steak and take your amino acids and do this type of workout. But you don't talk about the needles that you're sticking in your ass. It's not real. You have to do your own research. You have to do your own research and see what works for you. What's up, Drew? Shout out to the UK. Shout out to DK from the UK. right, James. Whatever's good for you, you got to do it. It's all about your health. It's all about your family. If you're not healthy, if you're walking around doing the wrong things, if you have kids, they're going to do what you do, not what you say. You got to be the example. You got to be the role model. And you have to do things that are going to benefit you. You know, most of us, I know I did, I spent a good part of my early years being a fuck up, doing the wrong things. But you hope, you know, and I know a lot of people that are my age, guys that I worked with, that are doing the exact same thing we did 30 years ago. And, you know, I'm not perfect, I'm far from it. I'm the furthest thing from perfect, but I'm just glad that my eyes started to open and I started seeing things in a different way and started making changes. But I know far too many people that I palled around with for years, and you know, right now they're doing the same shit that we were doing when we were 30 and 40 and 50 years old. It's no way to live. Yeah, fresh. You know, I think shrugs are an overlooked exercise. And rows, those bent over rows, are you talking about barbells or dumbbells? They'll definitely get you right. They're a great back exercise. All right, Drew. You know I appreciate you being here, brother. Have a good day. Stay safe over there, all right? But, yeah, Drew, those shrugs definitely overlooked. You want to hit those traps. They make the shoulders pop a little more when you can see those traps. You know, in the bent over rows, I mean, a good, in a pinch, you know, a body weight for that, you want to do some inverted rows, you know, on the parallel bars. All right, brother James, I appreciate you being here, man. You have a good night. Stay safe, okay? I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, I agree. I agree on that fresh take. Much more with the bar. Definitely. Oh man, you got me with this name. I'll call you Mad. Thanks, C-Mad. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate you popping in. Hope you're doing well. So guys, all we did tonight, all I was doing was a couple of pull-ups. I did some dips on the parallel bars and some knee raises, and switch that up with some straight leg raises. I'm trying to get better with those straight leg raises. They hit the core much more than the knee raise is like an easier variation, right, of the straight leg raise when you're elevated like that. So you definitely need a little more core strength to get those on the bars. And like I talked about earlier, we were talking about yoga and the flexibility. You definitely have to have some flexibility in your hamstrings to do those straight leg raises. So I know I'm not there 100%, but I've been working on them a little bit. So I kind of switch them up. I'll do a set of knee raises, which again is like a slightly easier variation. And then you're up in the level a little bit when you straighten your legs and do those leg raises on the bar. But on the floor, if you wanted to do an easier variation for both of them on the floor, you would lay on your back and do some reverse crunches where you start with straight legs and then draw your knees back to your chest. And that would be akin to doing the knee raises on the parallel bars. And then you can just do straight leg raises on the floor. And when I do those, like I said earlier, I'll take my hands and put them down right below my lower back, right on the top of your butt. And that's going to give you a little more, when you're laying on the floor and those legs are coming up straight, that puts a lot of tension on the midsection. And for a lot of people, that lower back. So you want to put those hands back there and keep those legs nice and straight and come up as high as you can. Thanks, Fresh. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Guys, another thing too is doing some dead hangs from the, you can't even see my pull-up bar actually, but you do some dead hangs from the pull-up bar. That's going to help with your grip strength, build up the forearms, and it's great for your shoulder health, right? And if you can't hang, there's, you know, some people just can't do it. They can't hang from the bar with their full weight. So I always advocate these bands. So you would strap this around the pull-up bar, and then you step both feet into it, and you do your dead hangs, right? And as you build up strength, these things will get you doing your pull-ups. And as you go along, you're gonna decrease the width of the band, which makes it a little harder. And at some point, you're gonna get there. You'll be hanging from the bar, you'll be doing your dead hangs. All along the way, you're gonna be building up that strength. You know, the other thing too is a lot of people make the mistake of when they grab that bar, the pull-up bar, you know, the weakest link is always going to be your fingers, right? So you want to make sure you come over that bar, so you have a good grip on the bar. You don't want to be hanging from your fingers because you're not gonna last long. Thanks, Drew, brother. Take care of yourself. Caleb, I appreciate you being here, brother. You have a good night too. Stay safe. And as you can see, I'm wearing these. Actually, somebody asked me about them earlier. I guess you would call these, you see these a lot with the CrossFit athletes. Just gives you a little more tackiness on the bar. It helps you grip in that sense. So your hand isn't slipping as much. And also what I get is if you don't want to wear gloves or something like this, this is that liquid chalk. So if you ever seen the weightlifter's chalk, it comes in like a block, some type of calcium, whatever, but it's just like a very lightweight block of chalk, and that's what the weightlifters will put on their hands because it gives you a tighter grip when your hands are sweating. And this is the same thing, but only it's in a liquid version. If you buy that chalk, you know, and say you put it in your gym bag or anywhere, that stuff breaks apart and you have dust everywhere. But this is the same thing, but it's in a liquid form, and you just put a little drop on your hands, and you rub this around. And it takes about 10 or 20 seconds to dry up. I don't know if you could see it, but then you have a nice secure grip on the bar. I guess you could see that, right? So it's akin to having like the block of chalk and rubbing that on your hand, but this is in a liquid form. It's really convenient. I picked this up off Amazon. Thanks, Fresh. Like I said in the title, good things come to those who work, right, brother? Stay consistent and we'll be fine. I mean, stay consistent with the right things. Whatever you're consistent with, those are the results you're gonna get, all right? If you're doing the wrong thing consistently, you're gonna pay the price. If you're doing the right thing consistently, you're gonna reap the benefits, right? The payoff's gonna come. Good things are gonna happen. But like I said, you know, nobody likes to be uncomfortable. I don't like to be uncomfortable. It hurts. You know, you get sore. You breathe heavy. Sometimes you feel like you want to throw up. But you would rather be uncomfortable doing that than spend your life being sick, taking pills, going to doctors. You know what I'm saying? That's really uncomfortable. That's really uncomfortable. But you'll build self-discipline doing things like this. You know, look at what everybody's doing. 75% of the adults, I'm in the US, for you guys that don't know. 75% of the adults in this country are overweight or obese. 3 out of every 4 people walking down the street are fat, and that's a fact. So the quickest advice I give people is look what 75% of the people are doing in this country and do the opposite. And you're probably gonna win. It's right there for you to see. Go to the supermarket, see what's in their cart. Go to the restaurants, see what they're eating. And don't eat that. Don't buy that. And you'll be fine. Fresh, that's what it's all about. You know, you're growing, and you're never gonna stop growing, hopefully. But the key is not to be stagnant, and certainly not to be moving backwards as you get older. Certainly, you don't want to be moving backwards. Right? But if you're just going ahead a little bit, and sometimes you might inch backwards a little bit, but then you're gonna go forward further. You might get in a rut once in a while, where you kind of feel like you're not doing, but always keep trying. Always keep trying. Try and use your own mind. What's going to benefit me? What's going to help me? You got to keep yourself healthy, especially you guys that have families. Don't do that to your families. Don't do that to your kids. Don't ever leave them floundering or looking for help from other people. You got to be the guy. You have to be the guy. If you're boozing, if you're fucking around, if you're doing the wrong thing, if you're overweight, if you're unhealthy, your kids are going to look at that as if that's the normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. Don't do that. Don't do it. It's not fair. All right, guys, I think I overstayed welcome tonight. I think we're going to pack it in. Tomorrow's another day. A little after midnight where I'm at. Fresh again, I appreciate your generosity. That was very nice of you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the feedback. Everybody else that was in the chat tonight, I appreciate everybody being here. Everybody make sure you get your reps in. Everybody stay safe. Keep yourselves healthy. And I will talk to everybody in the next one. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.